They're still stunting for the gram, and it's like, you should probably save your money, because you might not be able to afford even food soon. Being on a financial journey in these times, in 2023, is more so about financially securing yourself for a possible economic catastrophe. I gotta be honest, y'all, having a channel like this where I'm giving out, personal finance advice regarding like home buying, investing, saving money, budgeting, just anything regarding personal finance, it's hard for me to have this kind of channel when there's so many scary things happening in our world regarding the banking industry. So by now, I'm sure you've heard about all the large banks that have failed and that have since been saved by the Fed. Okay, they've been bailed out basically by the Fed. Of course, they're not using that terminology, but that's basically what they've done. And now there are many rumors of more banks that are on the brink of failing. The catastrophic contagion type thing that they're talking about in the media now. And if you know just a little bit about the finance world, you know that just because the Feds bailed out the banks does not mean that we're all in the clear. Oftentimes, there's a trickle-down effect, and one of the downsides to this is inflation just goes haywire. Thus, the people suffer in various ways. So I'm not going to go into all of the different ways that this affects the people and all the different things that are on the horizon, but one thing that we can all say is that the cost of things have taken a sharp rise in recent times. Things are just getting way too expensive, okay? Everything is getting so expensive, but our paychecks aren't really keeping up with the rising costs. And then some of us are even getting laid off, which is super scary. So in this climate that we're in 2023, how does a financial journey really look? How does a debt-free journey really look? And is it even worth it right now when it seems like the world is falling apart? So the first point that I want to make in this video, it's going to be more of like a rant video, just like a chit chat, kind of a conversation type video. The first point I want to make is we're always told that if we're on a financial journey or on a debt-free journey, to never ever use a credit card. Credit cards are bad when it comes to financial journeys, okay, and paying off debt. But credit card debt is at an all-time high here in America. CNBC, okay, posted an article in early March of this year, 2023, that credit card debt is at an all-time high, putting households at a breaking point. Total credit card debt reached a record $930.6 billion by the end of last year. $930.6 billion. And honestly, what they're saying in this article is that the majority of people who are taking out credit cards are doing it for necessities, basic necessities, basic things that they need, like food, or paying their rent, just utilities. So that's why people are taking out credit cards, and because it's inflation. Inflation is causing things to just be more expensive to where things are not affordable anymore. So being that this is the case, if you're on a financial journey, it'll be hard, to pay off debt when you're actually accumulating more debt with credit cards, when it's hard to live. I don't really know if I have an answer for that or a solution for that, because again, my next point is that layoffs are increasing at a very concerning rate. So it's easy for me to say, oh, well, don't take out credit cards. But if you're laid off and you have no other form of payment or way of making money or way of paying your actual utilities and your bills, well, it'll be hard to, be on a debt-free journey or a debt payoff journey, pay off all of your debt when you don't have a job. You don't have any money to pay it off. So just today, I actually saw a news article that Apple has joined the list, the long, extensive list of tech companies that have laid off employees or that are going to lay off employees. So Apple is finally on that list. Amazon actually slashed 9,000 more workers. We also have McDonald's. McDonald's was in the news yesterday, and they're laying off quite a bit of their corporate employees, not even employees that work actually at the restaurants, but the corporate employees. And they're actually closing their corporate offices temporarily to get the plan started and to actually send out the communications to their employees and let them know what the plan is. So they've kind of like paused operations temporarily to get the layoff plan in place. And now we have other industries that are also laying off outside of tech, media and finance as well. So they're basically saying that millions of people have been laid off already, 3 million. According to this article that I'm reading that was released back in March. So that's a lot of people that are going to be out of a job in the midst of this looming, banking catastrophe that's happening, and this inflation that's happening. So if you're watching this video, you're aware of what's going on. You've probably clicked on this video because you're like, hey, I'm seeing it too. How am I going to really be able to save money and plan for the future and all this? And if all this is happening and looming over our heads, should I be saving my money more? Should I be stocking up? What should I be doing with my money if I'm on this financial journey? If soon maybe the dollar will collapse. So if you clicked on this video, you're aware of what's going on. But what about the people who aren't aware, or the people who just don't care? What about you saving money for a possible collapse, right? Because that could happen as well. So you're saving money for a collapse, you're saving money for the different things that can happen, while everyone else is still balling out of control. I mean, I know I feel some type of way about being like, hey, I'm gonna forego buying these things or doing these things, going on these trips, maybe buying these things that are, a lot more pricey, like investing in, property, real estate, maybe even buying another car, whatever. I'm not going to do that because I know that there's this looming, financial collapse that could possibly happen. And I need to make sure that I have funds for that collapse, that eventual collapse. And also, basic resources, like food, more tangible assets that you will need to live on just in case inflation does reach an all-time high, hyperinflation, and it costs, $100 for a loaf of bread, right? But doing this and seeing the rest of the world or the rest of social media acting like everything is just hunky-dory and like nothing has ever changed, like nothing's different, like nothing's gonna happen, like everything is fine and dandy, and that we don't have this coming catastrophe right at our doors. And I'm not saying that it's gonna happen. I personally believe that it will, though. And a lot of people would agree with me because economists have been warning about this for decades, right? They've been warning about this for a very long time. So this is inevitable. We're in a fiat currency. There's all sorts of different reasons other than just even the petrodollar, the BRICS countries wanting to get away from the US dollar as the world reserve currency. We all know about these types of things that are happening, but there's a lot of other layers to this that will cause the collapse of the US dollar just in general because of the currency that we have that's not backed by gold. Aside from that, we're aware of these things that are happening, but there's so many other people out there who aren't, and who are just acting like life is normal and acting like everything is just going on as if nothing's happening. They're going on vacations, they're buying houses and really expensive properties, really expensive mortgages, cars. They're still stunting for the gram, and it's like, you should probably save your money because you might not be able to afford even food soon. At least that's how I'm thinking about it, right? And then not to mention you could be laid off. So you want to be like, so in my opinion, being on a financial journey in these times in 2023 is more so about financially securing yourself for a possible economic catastrophe rather than securing yourself for an elaborate future, a nice future with a nice home and cars and assets and things like that. I think it's more so about being smart and wise, preparing yourself for an eventual collapse. Financial literacy now in 2023 is about keeping your money low, keeping your spending low, not spending your money on frivolous things, on vacations, on homes, so you can have money and stock up on your necessities like food and water. And different things for your home, like maybe a generator, just in case the power goes out. Just various different things that you don't want to have to be out looking for those things when the collapse actually happens. So we're like reinventing this whole, financial literacy, this whole financial journey, the definition of that. Let's reinvent that for 2023. And it's all about survival now. It's about surviving. And so let those people stump for the gram all they want. You will be smarter than that. And instead of you spending money on things that don't need to be spent money on, like name brand clothes and stuff, spend money on food, on basic necessities, because I promise you'll be in a better position once inflation starts going a lot higher than it already is. And so another thing that's happening outside of inflation and this looming impending doom of this economy that we're in, there's other things that are happening too, like more like I wouldn't really call them natural events, but these events that are happening in different cities and states in the country that are just outside of the realm of normal. Like, for instance, Philly, just the other day, Philly had a run for water, a run for water, because somehow their drinking water was not up to par. They had some sort of a chemical spill, and they were telling people that they needed to only drink bottled water, and this was for a couple of days. And so they had a run for water. Again, like I told you, you don't want to be one of those people who were in the line in Costco with 2,000 other people trying to get water at the last minute, because now you can't drink, the water is undrinkable from the faucets. So, but they had a run for water. So that's another thing that's been happening a lot lately in the different cities and states in the US, is all sorts of unforeseen things that are happening to our water supply that are making it hard to actually find clean drinking water. And so that's why the financial journey that we should be on is saving money and stocking up on those necessities that we need, just in case something like that happens in your neck of the woods. You will have a fine selection of water that you've saved up and that you've stored up, that you don't need to go to Costco and try to fight for bottled water. So again, in 2023, saving money is more about survival than it is about generational wealth. I'm not saying that, this is the end of the world and that you don't have a future, right? Where you can have generational wealth and become a millionaire and own so many different properties. But for now, let's put that on hold. Let's put a bookmark in that, that little section of your life. Put that on hold. And let's focus more so on surviving. And you're going to come across a lot of different gurus online that are going to tell you that millionaires are made during recessions. Okay, that these economic pitfalls and these terrible economic times are when more millionaires are made. And while that may have been true in the past, I don't really think that's necessarily what's happening now and what will happen now. I think this time it might be a little bit more extreme and serious than just a simple recession. That's just my thoughts. Right now, hard assets and goods are more valuable than anything. You may not be stunting on the gram with a nice name brand clutch, purse, shoes, whatever, but you will have enough water to sustain yourself for at least several months, and food as well, which is very important. And trust me, those people who are carrying Louis and worrying about stunting for the gram still, when destruction hits their doorstep and when the inflation hits their city and they're now having to pay $100 for a carton of eggs, they're going to be wanting to knock on your door and seeing if you have any eggs that you can loan them, right? But there will be the ones, though. These same people will be the ones. The people sitting for the gram right now are going to be the ones in Costco lining up with 2,000 people in front of them trying to get some water and some food. So you don't want to be that person. It's not looking too promising for the state of the US economy right now, and quite frankly for the world too. Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole situation. Are you still going to be going strong on your financial journey? Are you just like, whatever happens over here with the US economy, I'm still going to try to stack up my paper and make generational wealth and do all these things, investing my money in all these things, real estate, property, stocks. Are you still trying to do that, or are you changing your definition of being on a financial journey to saving your money, stocking up on goods and supplies for the future, survival? Are you a survivalist, or are you just one of those people who are just like, I'm not worried about it? How are you looking at this? Am I too doom and gloom about this situation? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe to join the tea party, help your girl out. And until next time, y'all, bye.